Coming up on this episode of the Girls Group Chat podcast, and then this big bright pink billboard with our face, it was like, holy shit.
What's
that
that?
she goes all the way.
Yeah! And he probably set it on fire at the end of the road as well. And I was like, well, clearly I'm going to die within the next 20 minutes. Hello and welcome to the Girls Group Chat podcast with me, Olivia.
Me, Diona.
Me, Jordan. And me, Shannon.
Hello. How are we? Before we get into our episode, I just want to remind you about the Patreon. I know I'm all business today,
Like,
boys.
how are you? Never mind.
I'm sure you're all grand. Anyway,
Rhetorical question.
it's like when somebody says, well, like, how are you? And you're walking past and you're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, and grand, see you later.
Your leg could be hanging off and you've had the worst ever and you're all
100%.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm honored.
Couldn't complain if I did listen.
Anyway,
Business.
we just wanted to say thank you to all our Patreon members. Fair play to yous, that £4 is going hell for leather because the episodes are absolutely unhinged.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every
Yeah, they're
every
getting
single
their money's
time.
worth.
Every week it gets crazier and crazier over there, and you obviously get a bonus episode every week. You get bonus content. This week was actually the BTS vlog from our event,
Sunday social, yeah.
Yeah.
which is so much fun. And then obviously you got early bird tickets to our nearly sold out Waterfront show. It probably is sold out by the time.
I'd say it's sold out by now with him.
The
It's
time
going
it's
out.
going
May or
out.
may not be. We don't know. If it isn't, get on there and get the last nosebleed tickets.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just to sprinkle it in there is going to be a behind the scenes vlog of our little trip to London that we had recently.
Yes.
Oh my God, this is the first we've all met up since then.
That is patreon.com/the Girls Group Chat podcast. That's the business done, guys.
Hey!
With me here sticking
Now
the
for the fun.
sponsors here.
Yeah.
Straight into
No
fun.
chat allowed. But how fun was London? How
No.
mental.
No.
Mental.
So fun.
Do you know, I don't think in recent years I've ever been to London and not felt sick to my stomach with nerves, because the only reason I was there was for like an audition or filming or working, you know, in a capacity where I had something to be nervous about.
Yeah.
Whereas this was one of the first time I went where I was like, I think I'm just here to have fun.
Yeah.
The
Here for the
vibes.
crack.
For anyone who
Such
doesn't
a breath
know,
of fresh air.
we don't know how you missed it because we haven't shut up about it, but we were over in London because we got Spotify billboards in Leicester Square and this Westfield, and it was so surreal. But I was saying earlier, like, I don't think it's even sunk in that happened. Like, I was standing looking at it like, what? Because I was
Yeah.
just so tired. I'm just really tired.
And I
girls
think
all
the fact
time.
as well, our billboard was bright pink.
Yeah.
Bright pink. So all the
Yeah.
other billboards were, you know, not to
Fucking
say
mauve.
boring, but they were
Yeah.
pretty boring in
Dua
comparison.
Lipa.
And then this big bright pink billboard with our face, it was like, holy shit.
I mean, the fact that we were standing in front of it screaming our heads off for the whole 9 seconds that it was up
Honestly.
every 5 minutes probably alluded that we were
But
on it.
it like felt reminiscent of, not to compare us, but like back when like the Spice Girls would have been like for the first time, like nobody knew who they were. They'd have been walking past them, standing in front of maybe their first billboard or
Yeah.
something, and people were like, who are these mad bitches shouting up and down? Why is one of them got a football top on doing backflips? You know, but you would have been like, you know, and that's just me.
Yeah, I was
gonna
going to
say
say
that
that's
was
what people were saying
Diona.
about you.
But you know, you're probably like, there was a time before everybody's success in something where that's probably the most
They
exciting.
get excited
Yeah,
about
it's
things.
like
You
the
know,
first,
when nobody
yeah.
knows who you are, but you're there celebrating something quietly because it's, well, quietly, not for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it just felt like, you know, there was a whole pile of builders beside us, like trying to crack on and literally build a building. And we were like, can you move? We're trying to make a TikTok. Out of my
I
road,
did say,
please.
I'm so glad that it was in London, not Belfast. Otherwise, I would say there would be some sly dig videos made of us because we were acting unhinged. And I think in London, like, they're maybe a bit more used to seeing people doing that.
Yeah.
Where in
Really?
Belfast, they'd be like, are them it's okay?
I
And
know.
the phones would be out.
When you were in school, just thinking of the Spice Girls, did you have a wee girl band with your friends? Did
course.
you have? Yeah. What do you know what you were called? Do you remember?
Oh, no. I don't remember what I was called. No, do you?
Yeah, we were in P7. We were the Almost Angels.
Oh my
Shout
God.
out to them. We had a great logo, and we all had like a different little name. We were trying to do a Spice Girls-esque
Yes.
thing. I was Sweetie, and there was like Cookie and Candy.
Sounds
and
like a
all this
stripper
sort of
name.
stuff.
Sorry,
yeah,
what?
yeah, it was like stripper-esque, but with no clothes removal. But yeah, did you do girl bands in school?
As we've already
there was
talked
only
about,
like 8
there
of you.
was 8 of us in my primary school class, and we
They were
were
the S Club
all-
Juniors.
We were,
It was the school choir.
we were literally S Club 7, apart from one person that was left out.
The manager just, yeah.
So no, we didn't have. None of us were also talented at singing. So
Yes, but if you look at most bands, I wouldn't say they're all very talented at singing.
we
either.
were too busy out in the farms, you know, like just
Yeah.
herding sheep, getting down with the fucking cows.
What's that song? It's like Herdin' Burton, Herdin'
Hit the
Burton.
diff.
Hit the diff. Is it hit the diff? Herdin' Burton.
Jordan looked at me there as if I'd said something.
No, I was looking at you like, how do you know that?
What do you mean?
What do you know?
I'm-
Hit the diff.
I go with the culture.
You know hit the diff.
I don't know hit the diff. I don't know what a diff
Radio
is.
DJ Jordan
Hit the
Arnold.
diff and
It's not a song I play
That
frequently.
she goes all the way. Are you
Hit
for
the
real?
diff.
Hit the diff.
Right, that's going to be on cue. Do
Do they hit the diff in it.
Hit the diff and pray.
What's the
That
diff?
she goes all the way.
Yeah, I asked Kieran this. It's like
It's like Cardiff.
you're when you're driving,
Hit the
hit the
fucking
diff,
Hit the
hit the
accelerator.
accelerator.
Like diff.
Hit the diff.
Like people.
It's
diffing
a
about.
big. If you went to see like the Farmers Bash and all, if you go there, that's just on loop.
Just on repeat.
I don't
Just on repeat.
feel like Jordan frequents the farmers' bash.
Here I do that, but I know hit the diff.
I would be all over the Farmers Bash. I think it would be brilliant crack. I've said a few times. And I think Kieran's sister would go with me 'cause she's quite a culture. Kieran's not really for it, even though he is a culture.
I love the way that was like such a like middle class normal. She is quite the culture.
She is quite
like,
the culture.
One day she arrived in a gilet. And just, oh, how we laughed. She had Barber Wellingtons on, and it was just
gracious.
hilarious.
Just
But
why
cultures
is
are good crack. My stepdad's a farmer as well, so he would be well in the farming community. He loves check shirt, the flared trousers, the brown boots.
Aye.
it's a culture?
What were
It's
you
a
going to
culture
say,
movement.
Olivia? I feel like you had something to offer as an insight.
Not really. It's just that we always people always use culture as a slur. Like
I asked that in
love it.
episode
I
1. I'm
know.
trying to keep myself right. I just am not
Yeah.
very familiar with the farming
I love
community.
the cultures. I wouldn't use it in a negative way at all.
we
But
provide
I
entertainment and also like what do you call the word for like economy?
Economical.
We're because we create events such as the Balmoral Show,
I thought you were gonna say 'cause you make
Farmers
your own milk.
Bash.
I was going to say something about like making meat.
Milk and eggs.
Yeah,
Oh well, that too. Yeah,
like
But,
you contribute to society.
Can you milk a cow?
No, my
Not
dad
right now,
has beef cow.
Can
You
you
do-
beef a cow?
But you also do know that like, so my stepdad used to have milking cows. He now has beef cows.
In
But you
Dundalk?
do, no, I'm not going to say online where his farm or here where his farm is, but
In the country, like
I will,
Right.
yeah.
right.
But you do know that you don't manually milk cows anymore.
Oh, I get the suckers on.
Yeah,
Ah.
and
Yeah,
it's quite
like a
traumatic.
breast
See,
pump.
the first time I seen him do it, it's imagine like, how do you describe this? So the cows are up here, and there's nearly like a drop that the farmer walks along in the middle.
Yes,
right.
I've done it.
And they stick the things on, and the cows just be shiting all over them.
What?
Yes. Jordan Arnold.
Well, Hit the Diff is playing.
I've milked a cow in one of these establishments before. I've been to
Gracious.
one of
No
these
way.
farming fucking Hallian things. I've been there. I've milked a cow. I've been on that little thing she's talking about.
Did you get shot on?
A parlor.
Yeah, no, I slept on a bit of shit. When I did ICA boot camp, another one of the shows that we're going to add to our resume between the four of us. When I did a show called ICA boot camp on RTE, it was basically RTE's version of La Dette to Lady, sort of. Do you remember La Dette to Lady?
Yeah, yeah.
They would just take these girls who were like wild, and then they would like make them ladylike and make them like
Why did they think you were wild? They
Well-
didn't pull you out of a mob fight in the middle of Derry. did they?
they had an enemy since I was 6, punching people in the
They just walked up and down Derry walls, being like, "You'll do,
You'll do.
you'll do."
Give me the Centurion. No, they were taking like models and influencers and social media people. Now this was maybe 15 years ago, like it was such a long time ago. And so I was on the show, but they weren't taking people who were like wee scrap heads. They were taking people who were like couldn't fend for themselves. It was like you were almost had to become a caricature of yourself on it. And on it we like milked cows, baked bread, made our own clothes,
Trad
changed wire. Exactly. They like taught us to be trad wives. And it was these Irish Country Women's Association, so these wee elderly ladies teaching us how to do all these things. You think I had a fight with one of them on the show? Of course you did. I had a full argument with one called Rosemary on the show. It's probably on RTA Play or something. But anyway, one of them was we had to milk cows, and I'm down there going milking the cows, and you have to walk underneath them, and you're literally like umbrellaing with your hands for the shite coming down top of you. Like it is pretty stinking.
How tall is a cow if you're walking underneath it?
No,
No,
they're up,
it's up
they're
on
on
a
like a
thing.
stage.
Okay.
Do you know like when you go for your MOT? Are you going to get the MOT car wash?
It's not like the redwood trees. Like, oh my god, you can't.
I thought it was like a T-Rex. I was like, God.
You've
They're
never
on
seen a
like
cow
a
before?
stage.
No, I have, but like it's been a while since it's all been up close. They're really. Do you know what's so scary? A horse up close.
We could take you
They're
cow
very big.
tipping for a girls' group chat day out.
Right,
Yeah.
we're not doing that. Is that not where you tip a cow over?
Tip cows over, yeah.
That's not nice.
They're not supposed to be over, aren't they? Not.
They can't get up.
They can't get up. But
No,
this
it's
is
easy.
Around in
Shannon.
circles.
Why
I've
would
never
you-
been. But they sit down.
Oh, why?
What's that thing? Cows sit down when it's going to rain.
Gonna rain, yeah.
I thought cows couldn't.
But
sit down.
also, like,
Oh,
cows,
Jordan.
cows have literally 2 brain cells, so they're probably just reacting to sit down. I
Yes.
think that's an
They can't lie
old
down.
wives' tale.
They can't lie down. So they
can
just,
they?
Is it not? Are
Yeah,
you
they
not
can lie
thinking
down.
of the fact that horses sleep standing up? Is that what you're thinking of?
Do
No.
they though?
Horses are scary. Like.
They sleep standing
They're
up.
big.
We are so excited that That Prize Guy is a proud sponsor of the Girls Group Chat podcast. If you haven't heard about That Prize Guy competitions, Come out from under your rock.
The current competitions are 70k cash, 50k cash, and 40k cash. They give these away almost every single day, and they give away cars such as Land Rover Defenders, Audis Q3, and the most unreal holiday destinations like Mexico.
And you can get in touch for like wedding favours and private event competitions. There's loads of instant win competitions on the website, so you literally enter, and if you like, the money goes into your account there and then, which is obviously class. And you might even join loads of people who are now millionaires thanks to that prize guy.
Absolutely class. So go give yourself a chance to win. Head to thatprizeguide.co.uk and please remember to play responsibly. Keep it fun. They're so big. One morning after my 26th birthday, my friend Catherine, I was supposed to shout out to her, I'm just shouting every night today, shouting to Rosemary, the Almost Angels, Catherine, hiya. We ended up in a field of horses and I was in my pyjamas and dressing gown, and I can't remember why I put this photo, and all these horses are just enclosed around me, and I was so scared because I never realised how tall horses were, which is why I was asking how tall a cow is, because I just thought in my bed, can't fathom how large animals are. But
They are
horses
massive.
terrify me. They're
I love
humongous.
horses.
Yeah, see if one kicked you in the head. I don't know why it would.
You'd be gone.
You'd be absolutely.
Do you know, I
ruined.
imagine if a horse has kicked you in the head, like it would have to be like a fucking ninja fly kick to get up to your head. Like you'd have to be on the ground to get kicked
What
in
if
the
you were
head.
tying your shoe?
Oh, just happened.
Never tie your shoe around a horse. Never
Especially
knows
not
that.
standing behind it.
The
Words of
disaster
wisdom.
cocktail that has come together, that you have a shoelace loose and need to tie it exactly
in your pajamas, in your dressing gown, in a field of horses.
Well, you happen to be at the farm in front of
after your
horse.
26th birthday, and you get kicked in the head by a horse, you'd be away.
Oh,
Here.
wouldn't be right.
But speaking of cows, do you remember when you were in school and you were told about mad cow disease?
Yeah.
And we were
Yeah.
convinced it
Foot
was
and mouth and all.
foot and mouth. But mad cow disease, I remember at the time it was like all of the talk, it was all over the news. Everyone was like, all of the food was being recalled
so
from all of the
scared.
supermarkets,
Yeah.
and we were all convinced we were going to like get mad cow disease.
You're probably right. In our age
Generation.
in school, it was probably when it was the same thing, but ours was foot and mouth, because
'Cause
I
we had
remember the schools being closed
The
for it.
horse meat scandal as well. But
Oh,
you obviously
yes.
did too, but we would have been actually children when that
I
happened.
remember the schools being
The
closed
slide digs.
for hand, foot and mouth, and I remember I think I was doing like a public speaking thing, and for whatever reason it was still on in like a different school, but mine was closed, and I remember feeling like,
Terrified.
oh my god, I'm risking my life here to do this public
Yeah.
speaking competition, and getting there,
I'm
and
a
everything was
martyr.
closed apart from the people doing this public speaking. I was like, I am.
Do you remember even coming through the
Fucking balls,
airport and all you had to walk through these mats with like
Yeah.
fairy
Yeah.
liquid on
Sanitizer.
them and stuff?
Yes.
Or it was probably fairy liquid.
It was like
I don't know.
the early COVID.
Yeah.
It was like you know, the mini COVID.
I was so worried I was going to catch either foot and mouth,
Mad cow disease.
mad cow disease, or key lime pie. Not key lime
Key lime
pie.
what?
No, key lime disease. Lime pie. No, what do you call it? Dutch elm disease.
Wow,
That's a lot of different.
That was so
Dutch-
different.
which is a tree fungus.
Right.
Or poison ivy as well. I was really
Poison
scared of.
ivy.
Just so many diseases to catch
But
that
the
probably
mad-
were never going to affect me.
The mad cow disease could only happen in cows, couldn't it? Like it couldn't get to humans, and it made the cows go crazy.
Oh yes.
Probably because they had like
Like
a
rabies
fever.
kind of vibe.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
had,
like
like,
they
fever or
were
something.
like running into the wall and all. But like
Fuck.
that's probably because like you says they got two brain cells, probably were gonna run onto the wall anyway.
God
You
love
know,
them.
or they're like lying down their backs and all, kicking their legs around and going, oh shit, can't get up now. Do you
Yeah.
know? But they lost their shit. Like they went mad, and I remember thinking that was gonna happen
Yeah.
to us in our class. Like we were all gonna lose our minds
Yeah.
because of mad cow.
Like if you ate beef or something, that was
Yeah,
it.
it was you.
Yeah.
But I really was scared of bird flu at the time. Do you remember
Oh,
it was
me
such
too.
a thing, right? And we were on a school trip to the leisure centre. Class, obviously. What a
to
trip.
clean it. Yeah.
And I
Oh, wait,
looked,
obvious.
looked straight up at the sky, and a bird shit in my eye. This was at the height of the bird flu, and I was like, well, clearly I'm going to die within the next 20 minutes. Then. And I was like, P4, and I was like, there's shit in my eye. I'm literally blind. I've got bird flu, and I'm gone.
Yeah.
That's
I didn't have a phone, couldn't ring my mum or none. I was just going to die in the Ghana Leisure
That's
Centre.
a horrific thing to happen to you anyway, but whenever you think you're also going to get bird flu, that's trauma.
Who decided that that was good luck?
Oh,
Psychopath went, do you know what? I'm going to turn this frown upside down and turn
No.
this into good luck.
it was definitely one person in a big group that got shat on, and everyone was like, ha, and he was like, it's good luck, fuck yous all. And they were all like, oh
Yeah.
no, we didn't
Oh,
get shat on.
That's the problem. Exactly. Some smart person who refuses to be victimized was like, do you know what? This is actually the best thing that could happen to me. I'm actually embarrassed for you. You
Yeah.
haven't been shot on yet.
And then coincidentally, the week after, he got like £5 in the lotto or something. I was like, yeah, I fucking told you.
Told
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
At what
everyone
point did
believed
you
it.
realise then that you weren't going to die of bird flu? Like, did someone have to calm you down, or were you are you still
Well-
worried about it?
I would say I'm mildly worried about it, but I had to go swimming then.
Here, the chlorine would have cleaned you out rightly.
Oh, my teacher just put water in me and was like, way on.
I said, did you take the bird shit into the swimming pool?
Oh, grim.
Dirt.
This was like 2000.
She thought it was her last swim.
Yeah, but imagine now there's people like, do you like dating back the big like disease that spread through Dungannon in the early 2000s? They're like, it came from Dungannon Leisure Centre pool.
She was like, I better get baptised before I head to the afterlife here, straight in the pool, flush out the eye.
Then I come home and told my mom, and she was like, right. Like, I was like, bird shot in my eye today. Well, I didn't say shit. It probably said pooped or something.
Yeah.
She was just like, right, okay.
But I said to you in London as well, just talking to things you were worried about when you were a kid, I used to be so frightened of pickpockets. So do you know the way in London they're like, you know, mind your pockets, because, you know, pickpockets operate around here. I remember mum drilling that into me as a child, and I would walk around with my pockets held like this in a wee bum bag, and I'd be holding on to the pockets in the bum bag. Because we had done the play Oliver in school,
That's the thing.
I had visions of like wee street urchins crawling out and being like, you've got to pick a pocket or two. Not that I was walking around with like a 10-foot hanky in my pocket. That's what I envisioned. I have always been so scared of having my pocket picked.
And you were probably making it so much more obvious as well, like holding all of your belongings in your
Big
hand.
bag of gold in my pockets.
My mum would still say to me, no matter where I'm going, if I'm going on holidays somewhere, she's always like, don't be getting robbed. And I'm like, oh, please let me. Please. Like, I'm like, I'm hardly going to get on purpose robbed. Do you know what I mean? And she'll be like, get your bum bag on the front, put a padlock on it, hold on to it tight. And I'm like,
Yeah.
To
hardly.
be fair, I seen loads of people in London walking about with their backpacks on the front
Oh,
of them,
yeah.
and I was like, yeah, that's clever.
Did you see that video of the girl from Bridgerton?
Yes.
How the guy tried to steal her phone just from
Yeah.
the bench beside
Yeah.
her in a coffee shop, and she like battered him.
Battered him.
I seen a
Amazing.
guy from it was this weekend when we were there, which made me like hyper aware in London. A guy from Belfast, you know, the guy that does the kitchens. What's his name? Paul.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Paul
yep.
Moneypenny, I love him.
He got his phone stolen in
no,
London at
fuck's sake.
Beyonce. Just they're trained to do it over there. You see,
Yeah.
they're trained how to grab your phone off you.
I
So I
think
was
Beyonce
like
has enough phones. wouldn't he?
hyper. I was hyper aware when I was there because, yeah, at home, luckily we're not as bad.
How could you possibly? Like, I think if you're a person who has learnt to pickpocket so brilliantly that you can get into someone's skin tight jeans and remove their massive Android, which is not a euphemism, from their pocket. Go on, Britain's Got Talent.
Yeah,
That's
a
impressive.
great skill.
Rob
That
the
is a-
audience.
Surely that's a transferable skill that you could bring to some other thing.
Yeah.
I like magic.
Yeah.
Magic.
Yeah.
You're a magician. Fair play to you. Fair play to you. Stop stealing pickpockets.
And it was probably more profitable to just rob people.
It is.
Not that I'm encouraging that.
Yeah.
If you have a passion, don't jack it all in to become a pickpocket, please, because I'm so scared of them. But you know, was there anything you were afraid of whenever you were a kid that really ended up not impacting you, apart from foot and mouth and all
For
the
us,
rest?
the Millennium Bug.
Oh God,
You
yeah.
probably remember. You don't remember this? Oh my God, the year 2000. We were told it was the whole way through 1999. We were told that as soon as the clock strikes midnight on the 31st of December 1999, going into the millennium, planes were going to fall from the skies, banks were going to crash, all of our like big, massive, jumbo computers that we had in our house were going to just combust and just
Yeah.
blow up in our kitchens or wherever you were keeping them. And everything was just gonna, like, we were just all gonna, it was gonna be a post-apocalyptic bit of a time, and then we were all gonna die. Like, that's what we believed.
I think
And yet on New Year's Eve in the millennium, we were all running around with our like 2,000 glasses, and we had the 2 zeros for eyes, and we're like
That's
fucking,
right.
you know, just like celebrate good times. We're gonna die.
One last party.
Yeah.
It was because they didn't think like the central computer of the world, wherever that may be, could cope with changing from like 1999 to 2000.
2000.
They thought it was going to throw everything
Tip
into
it
absolute
over the
chaos. Now,
edge.
in fairness, would they not have just grounded all planes?
Well,
If they thought they were going to fall from the sky, it seems like a
I would
mad
say
risk to take.
the high up people probably knew fine rightly that there wasn't really going to be I think it
It's
was
great to
the
create a
general
bit of
community
pandemonium,
just thought
isn't it?
that.
Yeah, exactly. Create a bit of pandemonium. It gives people something to talk about and distracts from what's actually going on in the news. They're probably like, there's something. Do you know, like, whenever like Downing Street over COVID, they would like have massive parties, and they were like, let's throw something out there to distract them from that, so we'll talk about this other thing instead. So they made up the Millennium Bug. But I remember even in school, like, everyone was just like, breaking on 23rd of December for Christmas. They're all like, all right, nice to know ya.
See you later.
See you never. Yeah, it's been great watching Saved by the Bell together, but we gotta die now. Goodbye. Like, it was just like
In that
so,
accent too.
I
Yeah,
went to school in Boston.
yeah, that's what happened. In Derry until 1999, we all sounded like we were from Boston. The Millennium Bug had, and we got these mad accents.
So awkward when you go back to school in January and you're like, hiya.
No, I know exactly, but
we're,
you know,
we're
like,
here.
you probably had a real emotional goodbye. Like, I always loved you. You're going to people going, I actually fancied you the whole year. And then you leave me, come back in January and you're all, I'm only joking what I said when I was going to tell you. Didn't believe
all
that.
your
Well,
exams.
that's
It was the Millennium Bug.
Whenever everyone thought TikTok was going away, it did obviously for a while for the Americans, and
Not
all
for
the
like a day.
big influencers came out and like really exposed themselves
Exposed
and like
themselves.
told loads of truths that everyone kind of knew.
Did they? Who did what?
Yes.
Tell me one.
Oh, yeah.
There was
I don't
massive
remember.
ones,
There was
Diona.
lots
Remember
of
any?
fitness influencers that were like,
Saying that
I've had a
BBLs.
BBL
There
this whole
was
time.
loads. Ones that had maybe lied about their age. I'm trying to think.
This
of
is
a
like
good
deathbed
example.
shit.
Did
Oh,
you
yeah.
not know this?
There was
and
like
then they had
a-
to come back a few days later and be like,
Sorry.
we're back.
There was a girl that does those mukbangs. Remember the
Yes.
mukbangs?
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't actually eat any of the food, I just spit it out.
We are delighted to introduce our sponsor, Iconic Bronze. If you haven't heard of Iconic Bronze, it is a tanning and cosmetics brand founded right here in Ireland by the lovely Linda Stinston.
I've been a brand ambassador for Iconic Bronze for 7 years. I actually started using their products when I was in uni, and myself and Emma Kearney created a collection over 3 years ago now, and these are actually my lashes.
Fancy.
The
I know, they're
products
unreal.
are
Their products
fab.
are class.
I have to say, I have only started using this recently. Their instant body makeup, incredible.
That sort of thing's a lifesaver.
Incredible
on a night out.
lifesaver.
I'm a big fan of a body makeup. All their products are luxurious without the hefty price tag. They're also vegan and PETA approved and award winning as well. So you can't really go wrong with Iconic Bronze.
And we have all of our listeners a 30% off code. If you use the code Girls Group Chat on the site, 30% off all of the goods at iconicbronze.ie.
And then she actually put a clip in. She put a clip in, an unedited clip of her stuffing her face, dropping it out, stuffing her face, dropping it out under her
Mental.
knee.
And all these people were like, oh my God, like I thought you ate all of the food. She's like, no, I just spit it out.
I mean,
And then they had to come back on and be like, hey.
Only
and then what are you, how are you going to do a mukbang then, are you?
No,
Do a
they're like,
muk spit?
full eating video.
Yeah,
No
unedited. I know.
to make it proof. I had loads, to be fair. I have quite a list here. One, quicksand.
Yeah.
I think that was from TV, movies. I genuinely thought I was going to fall in. I've never seen quicksand in my life.
Terrified of
I don't
quicksand.
think it exists. There's no way. Maybe it does.
Does it not?
Well, I mean,
I think it's
when's
bound
the
to.
last time you seen quicksand up close and personal?
But like I thought that if you even walked off like the beaten track that you would get
Fall into quicksand.
done by
Oh,
quicksand.
100%.
Like,
Yeah.
Off the beaten track.
No, I remember my
know,
big
like,
cousin.
If you went
saying
for
to
a
me-
dander through Pomeroy Forest and you happened to go left instead of right, you're gonna get
no,
some.
literally you'd just be like, meow, and nobody
I
would
always
notice.
imagined, like, what do you call the beach near Newcastle, on the way into Newcastle, the one that you've like walked
Yes.
quite a bit to?
Yes.
Murlock. I imagined if you went off them like pallets that you walk down to get to Murlock, if you went off the side of that was you gone.
You're
Gone, you were
Sounded
never getting
away.
out.
My cousin said to me whenever we were on the beach in Coney Island, whenever we were kids, and we had welly boots on, and my big cousin, who's about 10 years older than me, was like, oh mind, there's some sinking sand here. And what she meant was like it was just really squelchy and our boots would get stuck in it. And I stood in it and just threw a hand in the air because I was ready to drop down. I was like, help, I'm in the sinking sand. And she was like, just walk.
Not even a
I was
toenail.
ready though. I was
Yeah.
ready.
But there's another one I have, and this was, I specifically remember my nanny Pat telling me this one, and I actually don't know if I should admit this. Did anyone else when they were a wee girl, I know there is people used to suck in the ends of their hair.
Oh yeah.
Aye, but I didn't.
I used to do that as a wee girl, and I remember my nanny Pat telling me that I had to stop doing that because her friend done that when she was a wee girl, and she ended up with a fur ball in her belly and had to get it surgically removed.
Oh, wow.
And I lived my life believing that I was going to have a fur ball in my belly. Obviously, did not
But
happen.
it's sort of like whenever you got told if you swallowed the seeds of an apple,
Yeah.
a tree
tree
was
would
going to
grow
grow in your
inside you.
belly.
Or if you kept making funny faces or turning your eyes in, it was going to stay that
was
way if the wind
gonna
blew.
stick.
Yeah.
I think I probably believed that I was about 14.
I probably believe that as well. But
I'd
I
still be
remember
afraid to do it for too long.
I'm
just in
learning
case.
so much tonight.
There
boys.
was you know whenever you were like taking the piss in school and you were like leaning back in your chair
Oh yeah.
and your teacher would be like, well, many years ago I had a student that fell back, cracked their head open and died. So do you want to be that person? I
know.
don't think so. And you're all like,
It was always the absolute extreme, wasn't it?
It was
so
so
never like,
extreme.
you might hurt yourself. It's like you'll kill yourself doing that.
Teachers
you're
must
like-
just spread rumours around school of like, do you like old tales of people long gone
Yeah.
who did something that you're just about to do, and oh, did they love to regret it or did they not? Like, it's always like, oh, there was a wee boy in here talked back to me one time. hasn't been seen for dust. You're like, okay. There's a wee boy
I wonder
also.
them same things still going on in schools today. Like,
I
has
would say
our
so.
generation
I like
of
the urban
teachers
myths.
continued on with them?
I don't think so. I don't think you can
Lie the
pull
same
the wool
way.
over their eyes because they're just like, no. Because I even remember with my stepsons, whenever like they were young teenagers and you'd have said something and they'd have been like, Alexa, or okay Google, they'd be like, no, it's not, and you're all,
Oh,
you can't
debunk everything
they
really
debunk
quickly.
everything straight away. They've all the information that they need, so that you can't bullshit them as much.
Mm.
Like when I was growing up, my daddy told me that all of the songs on the radio he had written them.
Aw.
So we would be in the car and I'd be like, Uptown Girl, and my dad would be like, another one of mine, and I'd be like, and I remember being like, that is so cool that you've earned all this money
wonder,
from
did you
songs
tell
and
people
chose
that?
not to buy a car. That's great. Well, what about staying humble? I'd be in school and I remember specifically coming back one day because it was always the songs I liked, like boys and songs and all too, and we're coming back from school. Like really annoyed at him one time, and I was like, I know you didn't write, like, I don't know, To Become One. I know you didn't write that. Everyone in my school's calling you a liar because I was convinced.
You were probably arguing, trying to stick
I
up for
would
your
have been.
daddy.
I know he does. They come on, he knows the words. They're like, he's a massive Spice Girls fan. I was convinced because you could pull the wool over a child's eye in the 90s or early 2000s much easier. You just cannot
100%.
do it now. Like,
But there would be like a widespread rumour that would somehow get among all the schools prior to social media. Like everyone thought that Keenan from Keenan and Kel had died in a plane crash.
Did
for
we?
no reason. Well, in Lisburn they did. Yeah. Yeah, once I told everyone that. No, that was the rumour. Like among many schools. And I didn't have Google to find out. And I lived in fear.
you just had to believe
The rumour
it.
kept going.
Yeah, the rumour kept going, yeah.
No,
Shout
actually,
out to Keenan.
hold on. In saying that, there you can pull the wool over a kid's eyes a wee bit. Well, it's probably about 10 years ago because I think I'd said using the plane. My youngest stepson, who's now 16, he was obsessed with like. Do you know, like the kids would watch YouTube videos of other kids just playing with their toys or unboxings, like you know that sort of endorphin hit they get from watching other people get gifts.
Yeah.
And they like he was like, oh, I'm going to start my own YouTube channel. So Sean and I would just record him on our phone, like give him his phone set up and let him record his own wee videos when he was like 5 or 6, and we would watch them back, pissing ourselves laughing, and he'd be like, shout out to all my followers, gonna do a massive giveaway next week. You can have one lucky winner's gonna get all these toys. Like and subscribe, hit that bell button. And he's like 5 or 6, and we'd be watching it back going, this is going nowhere. But he thinks he'd be, oh, how many views we've got? And I'm, oh, you've got 7 views now. And he'd be like, whoa.
It's like we have Shannon convinced this is a real podcast. Yeah, no, it is, honestly.
Another one, school in general. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good one.
What a myth.
We're saying this was all kind of came from school, but school in general, as far as, I don't know if this was just my school, but it was drilled into us that like detentions, anything like that, stayed on your record.
Yeah.
And this is going to affect you going for jobs. This is going to affect you for everything. Where is that record? I'd love to see it. It doesn't fucking exist.
Growing up watching American TV shows, they would go on about their permanent record.
Yeah.
Like if they got expelled or
But
something
our
like
schools
that.
did tell us too about detentions and suspensions. That will all stay in your record. My school told us that. Where are they? I'd love to get it.
But even on your UCAS application at our school was like, you need to be doing loads of extracurricular things to get you into uni and all. And I signed up for the Pope John Paul Award, right? God rest him.
Wow.
You two wouldn't know anything about this, but they were.
All
it was
right.
basically like
Like
They
the
ha-
Duke
here,
of Edinburgh.
They have heard of the Pope.
the who?
He's famous outside of our circles.
Is it like
London,
the
but
Duke of
anyway.
Edinburgh Award?
Probably
You wouldn't know anything about that.
Probably was the Catholic version of that. But
Up mountains and
you had
all?
to go. You had to go and like volunteer people in your community and all, and like go and do good things. Which
Okay.
I obviously was like, fuck's sake. But I wanted to get into uni, so I was doing all this mad stuff. I was flat out going to mass and like going to confession. I was here, and then at the end, I was like ready to get my certificate because I thought this was my one-way ticket to Ulster University. And the girl was like, "Oh no, you didn't go to that one mass that you were supposed to go to, so you
Stop.
didn't get any of it. So I didn't get the fucking award."
That's brutal.
And
There-
so
do you know why?
Did they
There
actually
is
ask
no
you-
award.
But they're lamb bastards.
Did they ask you about it for you now?
No, they did not.
But
I never even got asked for my GCSEs.
Nobody even looks at your GCSEs.
No.
I'm convinced. Have you ever seen Leonardo DiCaprio's Catch Me If You Can?
Yes,
You could get your way and anywhere
Anywhere.
these days if you're a good enough liar.
absolutely.
You do not. You can bullshit everybody. That's my advice for today. Keep bullshitting. Keep lying. See where it gets you. Report back.
I do believe in fake it till you make it though.
Absolutely.
like I do think it's a
Definitely.
thing.
Confidence is everything.
Because when I started doing makeup, I obviously had no clients because it was in the like everyone was a Mua era. And I used to post my stories being like, fully booked today, girls. Like, you'll not get a space today. This is your sign to book in early. And I had one client the whole day.
Yeah.
And then, like, I kept doing that for a few weeks, and people that I knew would be like, fuck, you're flat out. I'm like, oh, fuck, oh, no.
Tell me about it.
My back is
back to back.
fucked
Yeah.
here. Like, I'm so busy. And then people actually did start booking in because I was actually telling them that I was flat out.
But that's it. You just create the hype, believe
Yeah,
the hype.
that's it.
But you know, I actually had a wee bit of a catch me if you can moment a few weeks ago whenever I was in Glasgow. So I was going to Glasgow, I think, to do my show, and I had booked a hotel but for the wrong date. And I remember like going on because I was like, what hotel am I staying in again? Because I'm like, I just had one day I sat down, booked loads of flights, booked loads of hotels for different things, and I couldn't remember which hotel I was in. I went on to find which hotel was on my emails, and I realised I'd booked the hotel for like the wrong date. So I contacted them and I was like, can I change it? I actually need this hotel for tonight. And they were like, no, we're fully booked out, but it's a chain hotel, so we'll put you in another one across the town. I went, sweet, no bother. And I said, this is my early check-in transfer because I'm going to be there really early. And they went, there's no early check-in available in that hotel today, so no, we'll just refund you that, whatever it is, £15 or something. So they refunded me that £15. Got to the other hotel, and I was like, I have early check. Very confidently, I was like, yeah, I've got early check-in. And they went, doesn't say that in your booking. I brought up my old booking on my phone, showed them it, and I went, oh, well, why does it say it on my email? And they were like, oh, it does and everything. And I went, there was a thing where they transferred my booking across, and maybe this doesn't transfer across. And she went, I'll see to that straight away. I was in my room in 3 minutes.
No flies on you.
Don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. Do you know why? That room was ready.
Aye.
So why not let me in it? And I didn't obviously have to pay for it in the end for like the £15. But like, the room was ready.
Do you know what happened to me?
But I spent about an hour in that room going, they're gonna kill. They're gonna come from
the
police are gonna be out there. There's gonna be 9 of them. They're gonna have sniffer dogs. They're gonna kick me out. I'm gonna be trailed out of this place. My photograph is gonna be in every single Holiday Inn this side of Belfast.
I can't believe you're admitting this.
I know.
This huge
Well,
crime.
I made up
Pay
for
me
you
or anything.
because
Lock her up.
I was going down to Dublin with my sister for a concert, right? And I booked a lovely hotel. It was a present for her, and I was like, I'm going to send this nice hotel. So beforehand, I phoned up and asked for early check-in because obviously like 3 p.m. check-ins now. What the fuck's that all about?
Yeah.
What is that
I
about?
know.
So they responded saying, no, there's no early check-ins available. Now I had seen on the website the price was like €80 for early check-in. So I'd applied for that. I was willing to pay it because the concert time, it gives time to get ready and whatever else. So we ended up getting down. I think by the time we went to check-in, it was maybe half an hour before normal check-in. Because I was like, there's no point rushing down now because we don't have early check-in. So when I got there, I says, look, we're slightly early. We didn't know what time we'd get here at, but is there any chance there's a room ready? And she went, yeah, room's ready. I was like, great, happy days. And whenever I got home and checked the invoice and stuff, and I was like, what the fuck's that 80 quid for? They've charged me for something that I didn't. And I went back and forth in emails, and they eventually came back and went, that's for your early check-in. And I went, sorry, what? And says, oh, you asked for early check-in. I says, and you denied it.
Aye.
And that's a lie. They didn't reply for a long time, and I spoke about it on social media, and the next thing they replied, trying to be smart, saying, here's where you requested the early check-in. And I replied saying, don't try and be smart with me. Here's where you denied it.
Yeah.
But then they gave it to you.
No, but she was there and was all, does there happen to be one ready now?
Oh,
and they
so
went, yeah, it's ready. It was only half an hour.
Ready to go to war
80
for the hotel. I'm like,
€80.
they're right.
€80. For by the time I got my room, it takes ages to fluff about actually checking in. By the time I got to my room, maybe 15 minutes before checking in.
But you know, if you go to a hotel, you're there half an hour early, you might be like, does there happen to be a room ready now? And they were like, yeah. And then they let her go to that room. It's not early check-in. It's absolutely, especially if it's £80.
Isn't that ridiculous?
Yeah.
And for them then to come back after me saying, no, you denied it, they just didn't come back. And I just remember it in my head, and I'll not be back. You know who you are.
Here, how do you feel about this, right, in the world of hospitality? Because I have an opinion on it. When you check out of an Airbnb,
Yes.
and the instructions tell you to strip the beds,
No.
already out, strip the beds, fill the dishwasher, empty the hot tub, put all the towels in the bath, a list of things that you're supposed to do, despite the fact you've probably paid what, 80, 90, 100 pound cleaning fee. Like the cleaning fee you pay, you literally pay for like a cleaner to come in for like 4 hours. You pay for it on top of your fee. And it's like, I don't mind, like, I'll always put the dishwasher on. And I'll always put all my towels into the bath that have been used. But am I shite stripping your beds when I've paid £100 for you to bring a cleaner in, what are they going to do when they come in? Have a cup of tea?
Especially now that Airbnbs are so expensive.
Expensive?
Yeah,
It's
they're mental.
money
Isn't it
to stay.
crazy?
Used to be budget friendly. Used to be something maybe a wee bit quirky as
Yeah.
well, not your average stay.
It's more expensive than a hotel.
Yeah.
now,
More
honestly.
expensive than a hotel, not as luxurious. You have to do all your own cleaning. Half the time, it doesn't look like it says in the tin. Not that we want to delve in that road again.
Yeah.
But I would, like, unless there's an exceptional Airbnb or there's no hotels available, say it's for like a concert or something, no,
Yeah.
hotel me up every time.
But you're just like, no, I stay in Airbnbs a lot when I go away in this country, not if I'm going abroad, but just purely because I have the kids.
It's
and
handy.
and it's more space than a hotel room. And like you want separate bedrooms and it's just more space for them to play around and whatever else. But like I just think that's so cheeky to be like, can you strip our beds for us? Like, no.
Do you know what the
Get a
annoying thing
life.
is? I am the person that cleans the room leave, and I do strip the bed if I'm in a hotel. No
Do
matter.
you?
Oh yeah.
In a
Oh, yeah.
hotel?
No matter what,
Fucking
I strip
loser.
the bed. I don't know why. I think I'm such like an empath that whenever I see the wee maids and stuff working, I'm like, it's going to help them. It's saving them 5 minutes. Do you know what I mean? They're worked off their back doing this. So I always strip the bed. My thing would be if there was a note telling me to do it, then I wouldn't want to do
Being
it.
told
But
to do
that's
it.
the
That's
thing,
one thing. If it's
yeah.
your prerogative
Aye,
to do
it's-
that. And
I
I
would
always
choose
leave
to
somewhere
do it.
tidy and
Absolutely.
whatnot. But I don't like the list of like, you've paid to stay here and you're paying a cleaner and you've paid, way over the odds. Hey, clean the place for us too, won't you?
There was a place we stayed away last year and they charged you an extortionate amount to stay there and your cleaning fee and all, but they charged you an electric bill
Get away.
for your stay.
No
so we
way.
had to
Stop
pay
it.
electric as well.
How much?
It was like,
Could have only been about £3, honestly, for a
I think
night.
it was like
Was there a
£7
hot
or
tub?
something.
I was going to say, yeah, it's probably 30,
Say it's because the hot tubs there.
hot tubs there.
But then, that's,
Then
I
don't
feel like
offer it.
that's your
Don't
choice
offer
for
it.
having a hot tub.
I agree. No, I agree, but that's why they're doing
Don't
it.
offer
don't
it
even think
or
we could
include
enter
it
the
in the
hot tub.
price. You would rather have actually paid an extra tenner
Yep.
than not have the like disgruntlement.
But we also
of paying
didn't
that
know-
£7 fee.
hate it.
We didn't know that was a thing until we got there. You know, when you get there and there's like a
Yeah.
little fucking
You just thought you were
booklet
getting a
of
hot
stuff.
tub.
like it
You didn't
didn't
think you had to
say
pay for the
before we
electric?
booked that you had to pay for the electric. So we were going around the house like fucking turn the lights off and turn the kettle off.
Walking around like wee willy winky with a candlestick and a
There was like
nightcap on.
fucking Florence Nightingale roaming around the place.
Stuff you
was
wouldn't
like,
do in your own
that's
house.
scandalous.
I know.
That's
But
scandalous.
it is now actually a lot of the time even more expensive to stay in an Airbnb than in a hotel. And like Sean would love us to run an Airbnb. Like he absolutely loves the idea of having like a place that like he loves like hosting and like putting out a little welcome hamper if it arrives, all those sorts of things. And he would love to do it. And as all the Airbnb industry is not as lucrative as it used to be. Like you must like even though they're charging above the odds, have you seen the fees Airbnb charge and all too?
Mental.
Like it's crazy. Like people and as well if you think like
Insurance and everything.
they have to clean it so it looks like a brand new house every time.
Yeah. There was a girl recently reached out to me. We were supposed to do like a collab thing for an Airbnb, and the day before we were supposed to go, she messaged me and she was like, "I'm so sorry, somebody has wrecked our Airbnb," and it was a gorgeous, like one of them cabins
Aye.
away out in the woods. And she was like, "They've completely wrecked it. Like I don't know what we're gonna do. Like I'm so sorry." And you're like, "What fucking tramps?"
That's what you're up
would do
against,
that,
you say,
know.
isn't it?
Aye.
People
Like,
are tramps.
people aren't wise.
Yeah, people who nearly do it intentionally as well.
Yeah, and the camper van, we did a camper van thing too, and somebody wrote it off and all, and you're like, "Fuck, you would die." Like,
Oh my god, it's so awful.
It's the risky run, but that's why it's like not a lot of times worth it. When you're like, that's
Yeah.
going to cost me more to like fix all of these things. That's why I don't think I could be a landlord either. Like having to, although because it's, I think the landlord world is a bit unethical, but also like having to fix shit all the time. Like whenever I was renting, you'd always been ringing the landlord because you're all, well, I'm not fucking paying to fix that. Whatever the landlord will do it, and then you're like, how much money are you actually making off this house? Because
I think this all the time. I used to work in as an estate agent. Part of that was property management, so landlords would pay us to manage the property.
Yeah.
So instead of phoning the landlord, the tenants phone us and we get the workmen out and whatever. And sometimes I'd be like doing the invoices and I'm like, what's the point in the landlords having this house? Because the amount of things getting fixed, plus they're paying the estate agent fees.
Yeah.
So people obviously think landlords are raking in the grand a
Let's
month.
not defend landlords, but
I'm not completely, but
No.
I am saying from the point of view, if you were wanting to become one, it's not all the money you think. By the time you're fixing things, by the time you're paying, if you're paying for management fees and whatever,
yeah,
sometimes I'd be looking, going, "Fuck, you'd be better not having this house."
I'd be
Honestly,
better leaving affordable housing for first time buyers.
I agree.
I agree.
in our uni house in the Holy Lands, Damascus Street, our God love
Jerusalem
our land.
Street.
God love our.
Were you gonna?
Were you gonna add anything?
I was in them all.
Oh, I did Halls, but then I did Jerusalem Street, and then I did I did 3 different streets in the whole lands. I can't remember them. Anyway, what happened in Damascus?
So in Damascus, God love our wee landlord. He was like a first time landlord. Not God love him. Like, I don't care about him, but anyway. Whatever.
Fuck you, Brian.
People kept like breaking our door down because our neighbours were dodgy.
As they do in the Holy Lands.
And like, there was one night somebody broke our door down. We were all just sitting there having our dinner, like. And our door didn't lock properly for like 6 weeks because obviously nobody would come out and fix it. And he came out one day and he opened the door and he was like, "Geez, scared, what happened to the door?" And we were like, somebody broke in. Somebody broke in and broke the door. And he was like, "I pay for that." No, we were like, "Yeah."
Oh,
And then we had a party on St. Patrick's Day and somebody fell through our staircase, right? Like genuinely straight into the straight. Right?
Homer Simpson.
So obviously it was dodgy.
Oh, it was fucked. And he came back in like the day after and we were like all dying and he was like, "Happened to the staircase?" And we were like, "Someone broke in."
Broke in and started bashing up the staircase.
And he was like, "Her man." And we were like, "Jesus." He was like, "Must get that fixed." We were like, He used to FaceTime us and all
Just
being
the
like, "Are you going to pay your rent?"
Oh,
But this older man.
I know, I'm like, Olivia, you were putting him through a rough patch.
Here, we didn't have any money.
Do you like this like nice older man and he's got these 4 hormonal 18-year-old girls who are like, "We don't know what's happened. This is the first time we've lived on our own and we've been
And we were-
robbed 18 times."
But we were also too scared to ever say what had actually happened, just in
Course.
case we got
Yeah.
arrested by the
Yeah.
literal police because we didn't know what was going to happen.
Olivia, you've just reminded me of a story that I actually forgot was even in my brain. So obviously I didn't live in the Holy Lands, but all of my friends did. One of my friends in particular had been home like for a while at her home house, and now we all knew this is so bad. We all knew that her front door again didn't close properly. If you wanted in her front door, you just give it a wee bit of an extra push and it opened. So it did seem like it was shut, but if you pushed it hard enough, it opened and closed again. And we went, I think we were all with her. Was there a couple of us with her when she came back to the house? And we walked in and we were like, what? The place had been cleaned, robbed, to the point she had locked, you know, the door into the living room, because she was like, if we have all the doors inside the house, they'll not be able to get far. They cut a panel out of the door where they had obviously climbed through. No, it gets worse. So the door had a panel cut out that were then able to open it from the inside. There wasn't much in this house. It was a fucking tip that stole the cooker. Like, there wasn't much stole, but the cooker was took out of the kitchen in the Holy Land's house. So then we were like, what do we do?
Just looked for the fella carrying a cooker.
The place
Dragging it down
it
Jerusalem
didn't even look that bad, but it was like, how did someone do this discreetly? There's a panel out of the door, so it made enough noise, and the cooker's gone.
But
then
then
they have
again,
with them a
if-
hacksaw.
If you seen a man walking down Jerusalem Street
You
with a
would-
cooker, you
that's
wouldn't
the
even
issue.
care.
think
You'd be like,
twice.
that's
I
fair
know.
enough.
You'd be like, his car looks funny.
Be like,
So
well, Dirk.
when we phoned the police then, you know, we were like, surely someone will have seen this happening and all. And that's what our thought was. We were like, this is a normal everyday occurrence. If you see someone chilling,
Yeah.
you would just think, oh, they've bought a new
Cooker
cooker.
Craig. Everyone knows Cooker Craig.
And he probably set it on fire at the end of the road as well.
So I actually can't remember the outcome now, to be honest with you.
Here, I got robbed in the Holy Lands.
Did you?
Yep. And
It's universal.
like a rite of
so
passage.
You all wonder why I'm scared of pickpockets.
I know, true. I lived on the, I think it was Jerusalem Street. This happened, and I was in the bottom floor. Do you know, like the bottom, like do you guys know the bottom floor?
Yeah, the bottom floor. Yeah,
Beside the
Jerusalem
road.
Street, yeah.
Anyway, and it was the morning of my brother's graduation, and I had just moved in like in the August, like during the summertime, so I was in that house on my own, and I used to sit in my mirror against my window to get the good light to do my makeup on. Of course. So my window was a little bit open and the mirror was up against my window. I left my bedroom to go upstairs and get showered. Got showered, heard my mirror smash in my room, but thought it was because it was against the window and the wind, whatever. Came down, picked it all up, got everything sorted. My parents and my brother arrived to pick me up, and we're leaving to go to Queen's to his graduation. And I cannot find my phone anywhere, and I was like, God's sake. So I get my dad's phone and I ring mine, and a fella answers it.
Fuck.
And he goes, "Hi, I've got your phone. I've got your phone." And I remember being all, "Oh my God, what have you?" Like he was all, "I got out of your house, got your phone." Down the phone to me, right? And I was like, "Holy shit!" Like me stood outside Queen's ringing him, and then I remember my dad being raging at me because I turned around him and I went, "Well, you're the stupid asshole," because I also had a DVD player and a TV in that room. Nah. And my dad was like, "He's coming back," and I was all, "Oh dear." I know. It's
Came
like, I
back
need
for
to
the
move.
TV, the DVD player, and the cooker.
Did he climb through the window?
Climbed through the window on the bottom floor, like a window that's like a fire escape window.
Yeah,
not
no,
even,
look, yeah.
climbed up and round because he obviously seen the phone.
To be fair, I've done that to get
room.
out of a Holy Land's house before.
It was
Yeah.
Through
Shannon.
the top window.
I'm
actually quite a
He was
professional.
like, like fucking
Here, it's
laughing at me.
mad when you think back, like the state of the houses. Like my friend's door, the reason I climbed out a window, it would only lock from one side, so you could only lock it from the inside. So the last person out had to lock it from the inside and climb out the window.
That was just
Insane.
That's just
normal behaviour.
normal.
Yeah.
And that's how places do get robbed. The likes of, like, my friend had reported her door not working, by the way. And then
Aye.
the next thing, everyone's seen us booting the door in to get in, and then goes, let's go and get their cooker.
I can't imagine that the students of this day and age would stand for that now.
I don't think they do.
Because we were living in the scruffs, I think. Whereas I think now they'd be like, I'm not living in this.
I don't know. I think like it's sort of a rite of
a
passage
rite of
living in like
passage.
scummy student
so?
accommodation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long
That's
ago
how it was
from I
sold to
was in
me
the Holy
anyway.
Lands, I will admit
Like,
it.
it'll build character
Yeah,
in this
yeah.
absolute shithole. You're like, okay.
Yeah. You think of the stories you'll tell on your podcast one day.
And here we are.
Right, shall we wrap it up here?
I
Let's
think
wrap it
so.
up with a big bow.
Let's wrap it up here. If there might be tickets left for the Waterfront, we're not sure. At time of recording, there's a small percentage left for our live Waterfront live podcast, the very first one, 12th of December in the Waterfront Hall, and our Patreon. You can go on there as well and get extra content every week. There you go, lovies and leavies.
Bye.
Bye, ladies.